Yes, it is.
All right, so April 9th, 2008, 25-year-old Robert Matthew Poloni, who I will refer from here on as Bob, announces a video game titled Bob's Game with a YouTube video. Here is
God.
I am slightly familiar with this.
This
I've heard
is
the
like-
name, but
This looks like The
What?
Cure, the video game. Like 90s goth video game.
so I won't actually show the trailer because it's like 6 minutes long, but it shows gameplay that is very obviously recorded off of a screen, but this is also 2008, so standards for video quality were much, much lower,
yes, when Darkside Phil was someone to look up to.
basically. So, according to Bob, the game was developed entirely by himself, and that he began development in 2003 for the Game Boy Advance. Indie games at this time were very much, not really a thing. It was very rare for an entire game to be made by one single person. So, that was a
yeah.
huge selling point for this game.
I think Cave Story was only out for a few years by the time this came out.
Yes, that was pretty much the only well-known game that was developed by a single person that wasn't either from, the 70s or 80s, or that was, actually well-known.
Yeah. Also, I just want to point out we have a Mike McBob in the audience.
Oh my god, he's here.
So
He's been singled out already.
Bob claimed that that he had spent around 15,000 hours developing it, and that, again, he was originally developing it for the Game Boy Advance, but when the Nintendo DS was announced, he knew he had to switch gears for the touchscreen and dual-screen functionality. Thus, when, on August 9th, 2008, Bob released this announcement trailer, it announced that it was going to be released on the Nintendo DS. Bob claimed that the game was going to be a 20-hour-long, retail-quality, retail-sized RPG adventure game, all made by a single person.
Oh, okay.
And, big influence on Earthbound, or from Earthbound, just like
Yep.
every other RPG.
Yep.
God.
Alright, we're 5 minutes in and I need more already. Here we go.
What is the significance of having two lamps? Like, who has two lamps in their room?
I did not even notice that. You're right. He does have two lamps.
I also want to know what that is. That like a closet on the bottom left? Why the perspective is
It's a
very weird in
closet?
this.
Maybe.
That's
Yeah, it's a
Hey.
closet. Like, you can see inside of it. It's just like X-ray.
What about
That
the
looks like
bottom
a
right?
toilet bowl top left.
Why does he
I
have
don't
so
know what-
many dressers?
It's got a lot of clothes.
two dressers. I don't know what that other one is, and a closet.
Don't judge me. I have two full dressers in the closet.
Oh my God, Rob, this is your game.
But I only have one lamp, so
Oh, well, get on it.
Hey, do you
So
have two garbages as well?
Bob claimed that this would possibly be the largest game ever made by a single person. He said that the game would be more story and puzzle focused rather than being heavily combat oriented like most RPGs. He figured that there would be around 200 characters with unique personalities that would evolve over the course of the game, and that many things in the game would depend on the time or weather, which was, again, a fairly novel concept, since pretty much only Animal Crossing and, Majora's Mask were the games that really heavily relied on that at the time.
Ah, yes, 4D games.
This sounds like that My Little Pony Sim scam game
Oh, God.
just beforehand.
The which one?
There was a My Little Pony dating scam game that got was trying to get kickstarted. I think it was actually Indiegogo, so they got all the money. And it was basically like this dude did a long con and then just pieced out with everybody's money.
So a
It's pretty
Kickstarter.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty standard at fair.
ponies.
So the YouTube trailer was very, very successful, much more than Bob anticipated or had suspected it would be. In almost a week, it hit 100,000 views. Bob started a blog with this as
God.
the title, Bob's Game, a game made by one person.
I'm kind of sad it doesn't just say Bob's Game, a game made by Bob. Missed opportunities there.
Bob's blog was very, very active with updates during a month or two after the release of the video. Over the course of this month or two, on the blog, he posted lots of updates about how well the video was doing, how much attention it was getting. He actually received several interviews from major newspapers and magazines, including ones internationally and overseas. 100,000 views.
What?
What kind of newspaper? I'm just curious.
Yeah, like what guy from Germany is like, yeah, we have to go interview this guy making Bob's game.
Well, again, like this was a really novel thing at the time to have like a game for a major console made by one person. Even at the time, Cave Story did come out a few years before this, but Cave Story was just like a PC game you could download for free. It wasn't like a game that you could go out into Walmart and buy at the time. Eventually, it did become a game you could go out and buy at Walmart at the time, but not when this game was being made. So this actually was kind of a big deal.
At your local independent game store, support local.
Yes, support local. Thank you.
So I gotta, like, Gil, you've worked in the games industry. How much would the SDK for something like this cost for one person?
It depends. I would estimate probably around like probably $1,000 to $10,000. It's been a long time since I've worked with consoles, so I'm not entirely sure, but that's about what I would guess. So it's expensive, but it isn't unreasonable. Not only was Bob getting contacts and interviews with magazines and newspapers, he also began receiving contacts from publishers. He claimed that the game had been seen by many companies, including Sony, Activision, Blizzard, and more. The game had been seen by, quote, every company I can think of, except for one that starts with N.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. Despite
Nestle
claiming
did not want to buy Bob's game.
Despite claiming that he would be releasing the game on the Nintendo DS, Bob had yet to actually gain any kind of approval from Nintendo.
It's okay. They're not picky about that kind of stuff.
Somebody personally call Reggie.
Reggie doesn't even work there anymore.
Reggie was president of Nintendo at the time, and his name will be coming up over the course of this.
God.
So,
I was fucking kidding.
So
before we move on from Reggie, I just want to point out to anybody that doesn't know, his last name literally means likes wires. And
Fiami? How do you pronounce it?
yeah, so Phil's Fils is wires in French, and then aim is love or like.
Here's a screenshot of some of his blog posts from around the time.
Ooh, might have to zoom in on that for the
Yeah,
audience
is it for
there. That's
ants?
kinda
Come
hard to
on.
read.
It's not vitally important you read this. It's just kind of showing roughly what it was formatted like.
Okay, but the question is, he goes month and before day. Are people going to judge him for that? Shouldn't he have gone day then month?
Well, he does his kind of own weird thing because he goes year, month, day, like completely backwards from most, I think. So,
But if you're actually doing them by date, doesn't that make the most sense?
I don't know, man.
This is the hill Rob would die on.
So I will. This is as good a time as any to preface a content warning that there is going to be some mental health problems happening over the course of this presentation. So if that's something you're not into, then you might want to bail out.
Also, Rob, Hera mentions, couldn't Philimi also mean loves sons?
Yes.
Yes, but for a company that really went into motion controls without wires, it's funnier the other way.
Yeah, we had a moment of warp zone. Anyways, so since you brought up an SDK, while Bob had not actually received any approval from Nintendo, he had at the time submitted an application for a Nintendo developer's license, but had not actually yet received any response. But Bob was pretty confident. He figured that his video was getting quite a lot of attention, and a lot of people were seeing it, so he figured it was only a matter of time before Nintendo got back to him.
We'll call you.
Basically. However, and Bob was posting basically every day. You can see here it was August 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. However, after September, Bob went radio silent and posted almost nothing after early October.
So this game is why we never got Mother 3, is kind of where I get this is going.
Yes. So, however, after his several month long lull, Bob returned on December 8th, clarifying that he wasn't dead, instead claiming that he had moved to a, quote, top secret classified underground fortress.
Is this real?
Yes.
my God.
It was at this time that the game's website, this blog, was updated with a 24-hour live stream of Bob working on the game's development,
Christ.
along with a large blog post titled Stage 1, The Protest. And
What?
with a massive text reading 100-day Tensai sit-down protest start.
Is this Evangelion? Like, the new movie's looking great.
Yeah.
So
Good Lord. Look
does
at he's like
anybody
very
else-
Matrix.
Yes.
when he says underground fortress, is everybody else thinking mom's basement, or is that just
Oh yeah, 100%.
Wait, okay. The scroll thing on that picture says Reggie.
Yes, it was a scrolling LED sign that just had various like memes and like call-outs to Reggie and stuff like that.
Why?
Is anybody else getting flashes from the like the little bistro on that one floor at Sakura-con where the art installment has those?
So
my
we know where the
God.
bunker is. The convention center is concrete, so
It's no
plausible
longer
deniability there.
What is Tensai?
So Tensai is a Japanese word meaning genius or prodigy. So it's just 100-day genius sit-down protest.
So he's humble.
Yes, Bob had
Also, I like the dialogue at the bottom. Extra special insanity extreme solitary confinement development live.
I like that he's just like straight up like, yeah, this is I'm literally myself at this point. Like,
Paris stepped away from what for literally 1 second, and now there's a protest. See, this is why you have to pay attention, Para.
So Bob had shut himself into his room, which was locked, quote, and barricaded from the outside. He had a bed, a shower, and a friend who would bring him meals. He had no TV, no game consoles other than what he was using for development of Bob's game, and no internet aside from email to and from his phone to see if Nintendo had contacted him, and of course, internet for the webcam to show him constantly working.
oh my god. This is like that one lady who still streams, like streams every single day and people bring her food and stuff. Oh.
Well, and can you imagine being his friend? Hey man, can you barricade me in here and bring me food?
Who barricaded him in there?
I'm
Like,
Bob.
This is like the nice guy, but for Nintendo as a girlfriend. Like, what?
So his goal was to get Nintendo of America to respond to his request for an SDK, and ideally give him a license to release the game on the DS and the DSi, which had just come out around this time. He would spend all of his time working on Bob's game, but also iPhone and Android ports of Bob's game, so he could release it on that platform if Nintendo didn't give him any approval.
Okay, wait. So we've gone through 3 iterations of the Game Boy. So like, because it started with Advance, right, and then DS, and now DSi. Like,
Yeah.
Para, there is
Okay.
only one lamp visible in this screenshot, but maybe we'll see more later.
There might be more.
Is anybody else questioning where that green light is coming from
Yeah,
and what is
where-
making weird green light?
because it's not coming from anywhere specifically. Like, it doesn't look like it's coming out of the lamp. Like, is
I'm
this just the
under the
Matrix?
impression he had some kind of either green light bulb or like a green gel over the light to make it look green, because like as you can see, there's the red Reggie text. if it was just a green filter over the webcam, that would show up as like black or brown.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Like,
so Bob would post daily blog updates during his protest, and he called each day a stage. So this here is stage 1, the protest. Stage 1 meaning day 1.
Can we just
mentality
make
stage
a motion that anytime you mention the blog, it's Bob Blog?
Bob blog.
blah, 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 blah.
One of my favorite little things is that on stage 14, which was December 25th, he wished Reggie a Merry Christmas.
Oh my god. I was going to ask how many stages, but I guess I'm just trapped in for this ride, so we'll find out.
Also, it says right here, 100 day. So, in theory, 100 stages.
Oh. Yeah, I don't believe that 1 second. It's going past 100.
Oh yeah, place your bets in the chat now if you think it will go far past 100, or if you think that he will tap out long before reaching 100.
I say 5 years. He makes more.
I'm gonna give you guys a clue. Like, there's no way this guy is stopping this. Like,
5 years.
If you are just like, yeah, I'm gonna live stream myself, literally barricaded into a. You're not stopping in 100
Yeah,
days.
I don't know. I think his friend is going to tell somebody, and they're going to be like, "No, I'm calling the cops on you." And then, I think that this green room barred in sit down is ending quickly.
You know what food brought? Like, was it just like McDonald's, or was it actual
Can you
food?
zoom into the right? It looks
Can you zoom in
package.
and enhance?
Yeah, can you zoom in?
Enhance.
It looks
Well,
like
we at least know he's gonna waffle stomp everything down his shower, so there's that.
Well, yeah, if he's just in his room and he's eating
how does
food, what's he shitting in?
He does have a bathroom. So it's unclear from his blog posts, but from my research, I am fairly certain he's in like a small studio apartment here. So he does have a place to use the bathroom and to shower and to and he does have a bed, stuff like that. But either it's a studio apartment or just like a room in an apartment or something. It's a little unclear, but he does have everything he actually needs to survive this 100-day sit-down protest. I don't actually know what food was brought to him. He never seems to have clarified that, so I have no clue.
How old is he again?
He's 25 at this point.
I'm glad I'm good. Okay.
Amazing.
So, on stage 17, which is December 28th, titled The Blame, Bob revealed that a year prior he had contacted Nintendo employees and had even met with some in person, and had been upset about receiving very little attention from them at the time, and claimed that they did not take him seriously.
How could they not? Just look at that green light.
He's so dedicated. He even has a Reggie scrolling light. Like,
The man has 2 lamps.
Apparently he had been told at the time to apply for a developer's license, and he says that he did at the time, but never heard back from them. So this is his apparently second attempt at getting a developer's license so that he could make and release his game on Nintendo.
well, he's got dedication. I'll give him that.
Yep.
I'm just really curious to know what the criteria to get one is.
Yeah.
I actually am not sure. I probably should have done that research, but I didn't.
I was going to say, can you just anybody get a Nintendo's developer license at some point? Like,
you have to probably, like, at the time, I assume it was very, very difficult for an individual person who wasn't part of a company to actually get one.
I guess
And
now
also,
we have all
I
that
want to see
eShop
how he
garbage.
writes.
So as the stages go on, Dawn, you mentioned him being humble. As the stages go on, his ego begins inflating wildly, and each blog post gets progressively more bizarre and erratic.
I hope the font just progressively gets bigger.
The font did not, unfortunately, progressively get bigger.
Damn it.
I originally had a whole list of them, but there was just so many, and each of them crazier than the last, that I really just would not have the time to go into all of them. Some highlights are he claimed that Nintendo of Japan had begun receiving negative PR about Nintendo of America not helping Bob's game, and that it could possibly threaten Nintendo of Japan, and that Nintendo of Japan might take action where Nintendo of America would not.
Okay.
One of my favorite small bits is, so this whole time he has kind of like a back and forth going on where he yells at Nintendo and kind of insults them, but then also talks about
Nintendo and nobody yells back.
Well, yes.
It's not really much of a back and forth there, is it?
Well, back and forth from his perspective, because half the time he'll be talking about how bad Nintendo is for not giving him a developer's license, and the other half of the time he'll talk about how much he loves Nintendo. One of my favorite bits is he said that he never played Final Fantasy VII because he thought it deserved to be on the Nintendo 64 instead of the PlayStation. It's just such a minor thing that I find hilarious.
Rob, how do you feel about this as our resident Final Fantasy VII fan?
I think he's probably saving a lot of money on the remake.
Typical fandom Nintendo. Yeah.
Bob also kind of like low-key threatens Nintendo if they won't help him. But in like a very weird, ego-y kind of way. Because he says that
there'll be no more coins left in the Mushroom Kingdom.
He says that if they won't help him, that he'll be forced to release the game on quote-unquote homebrew on a flash cart. So, at the time, these things, the R4 Revolution for the DS, these were really, really big at the time and were kind of a little bit controversial. They allowed you to pirate games very, very easily. However, they were also the only way to play small indie or homebrew games for the console. And so Bob is basically saying that if Nintendo won't give him a developer's license, he'll be forced to release his game homebrew on this.
I'll be forced to do it. You made me do this, Nintendo.
Yes. And Bob says that this could possibly damage Nintendo.
Because it's going to be so good.
Yes, exactly. He legitimately thinks that the game will be so revolutionary and good that it could sincerely cut into the Nintendo if he released it for the R4, that it would hurt sales of actual for realsies Nintendo DS games, because everyone would only want to buy these for Bob's game.
They all have an R4, so yeah, they wouldn't need to buy games anymore.
But it's like
world peace.
I just don't get it, because it's like, if that did happen, let's say in some bizarro universe this did happen and it became a smash hit, and then Nintendo would just come to him and be like, hey, we want to license this, would he just say no at that point? I don't think he would say no.
So
I don't know if he actually did not play Final Fantasy VII because he was so butthurt about it not being on 64, he might just be like, no.
In my professional opinion, as possibly the world's leading historian on Bob and Bob's game, I would say no, he would not take that offer.
That's absolutely insane.
Gil, I 100% think that anytime you have a business card or anything, anytime we're describing you for one of our panels, you are the foremost expert on Bob and Bob's Bob blog.
BBB at the end.
To make that card
The
now.
BBB specialist.
Oh man, I cannot wait to see gameplay footage of this in 4 years.
So the best part about him talking about these homebrew carts is supposedly some of the manufacturers of these homebrew carts had reached out to him offering to release the game in stores for him, and he refused.
How?
Who was claiming that?
He was claiming that. It would not surprise me if he made it up, but it also would not surprise me if it was 100% true.
Yeah, I can see this going either way at this point. nothing is real and nothing matters anymore.
Paris said people won't even be buying DS games; they'll only be trading in flashcards of Bob's games.
It's gonna be
like Fallout levels of like.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like bottle caps.
We just need Bob's game cards.
Like that picture of that back in or two with the kids stacking money. That's just gonna be cartridges of Bob's game. Like eventually.
So,
Ultimate currency.
Still more real than
Still
Bitcoin.
more real than Bitcoin.
So, as the blog posts go on, as the protest continues, he starts getting like somewhat paranoid. He's convinced that Nintendo was somehow trying to sabotage Bob's game.
Okay.
His theories on why Nintendo wasn't giving him the license or what they really thought changed like almost daily. Some of them include that Nintendo was jealous of Bob's game.
I'm jealous of Bob's game.
The classic is the jealousy one. One of them is possibly my favorite is that Nintendo was afraid of Bob's game and that it would be too successful if they released it. Literally, he thought that his game would be so good that Nintendo, if they released it, people would stop buying Mario and Zelda and Pokemon, that they would only want to buy Bob's game, and the game would be so successful it would kill off all of their first-party Nintendo titles, and that's the reason why Nintendo wasn't licensing Bob's game.
I just hear like Bob in my head as Anakin, where he's like, "I hate you."
I can't wait for the next Smash reveal trailer for Bob.
Oh, no.
They need to at least put him as like in this movie or something.
God, I wish.
It's my Bob assist trophy. I need that.
Here's a screen. One of my favorite screenshots. I'm the greatest game
Back to the
developer.
modesty.
This is. I did not unfortunately write down which stage this was from. In case it is too pixelated for people at home to read, it reads, quote, "I am the greatest game developer that ever lived. I am a genius, and I will be around for the next 40 years, eating away at your company until it exists no longer. I will find way after way to slowly destroy your bottom line, and your business will fail.
God.
The name Nintendo will be forgotten, a discarded husk like so many others. Bob's game will live on forever. Those who doubt me, you, spelled with two U's,
You.
will be proven wrong. In time, the truth will prevail. Prepare to eat your words. Yes, I am completely serious. Who's taking names now, Reggie?"
I love how it's written like an evil villain speech, like eating away at your company until it exists no longer.
I just can't get over the weeaboo you.
So
Like,
I haven't mentioned
What
it yet,
I
but
can't get over is that he predicts he's going to die at 65.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, that is implied. Axum says he's getting hypercube vibes, and that's exactly what this is.
Not like approximately 65, but like straight up 40 years exactly. I'm
Yep.
going to die.
The West Bobo Baptist Church.
So the U with the two U's, every single time in the blog that he uses the word "you," he spells it that way.
I hope he blames his O key for being broken.
Is there any chance that somebody named you works at Nintendo?
I'm sure there is.
Honestly, there probably is a non-zero number of U's that work at Nintendo.
Ooh, you.
Another one that I didn't screenshot is he brags that, quote, "I am far better than Miyamoto, Itoi, Kojima, Carmack, and Wright combined."
Okay, leave Kojima out of this. Like,
He's at least as crazy as Kojima.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do a really sick collab. Thinking about like,
Shipping them both.
because like he can make Bob's game, and then he could put Bob's game when you put it into like the DS, it smells like burnt toast or something. Like,
Or when you die, it's just Bob? Bob? Bob!
So, over the course of the blog, he claims to be the only person that has ever tried anything like this, and that no man has ever accomplished what he has by the age of 25. This is ironically despite mentioning Cave Story as a source of inspiration, which was a full-length professional quality game made by a single person.
Yeah, but it wasn't an RPG.
True.
And they probably capitalized some of the stuff in the title.
Despite being a non-English speaker, yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, Bob's game is stylized as uncapitalized. He never once capitalizes the B or the G. It is always
But he knows
all
how to
lowercase.
use caps lock.
Around stage 27, so almost a full month into the protest, he begins complaining about getting headaches and difficulty remembering some of the blog posts he's made. At one point, he writes an apology to Nintendo that quickly turns into him calling them worthless trash and that he's going to spit on their smoldering remains.
I wish we could, like, just go spend a day at Nintendo at the time, just be like, he's written another one. Just a crowd of people gather around a computer, just like,
Every day. So, again, he has been in, for all intents and purposes, solitary confinement, which is very, very hard on the psyche. So, like, him getting unhinged and complaining of headaches is very, like, unsurprising. However, he's been holding on until day 30, also known as Stage 30, which is the 100-day Tensai sit-down protest fail.
Oh, what?
where'd the green light go?
Well, I've actually come up with a theory about that green light. So it's like you can get like blue and purple lights, right?
Yeah.
And then what color mixed with blue makes green?
Wait, why would
I
yellow
like that
get
the
a
whole
green
panel
one, though?
is silent.
I mean, it's yellow, but I'm just like, why? Where are you going with this?
Jars of urine.
Also, I just want to put this out here because I have a psychology degree that the UN says anything over 15 days of solitary confinement is literally like a war crime. And he's doubled that.
So he has committed 2 war crimes against himself at this point.
Yes. So
So the webcam...
Did he not masturbate at all?
I'm sure he can.
He's too busy blogging.
Why do you think the place got so trashed?
Hera put in the comments that this whole thing gives him the same vibe as the Japanese reality show where they locked a guy in his apartment.
Oh yeah,
completely
I remember
agree.
that.
There's a video, I think, by like Atrocity Guide on YouTube, or one of those YouTubers that goes over it. But if you guys like Bob's game, you should go look up the Japanese guy who locked himself in his apartment. Because this is staggeringly the same.
Oh yeah, I specifically chose this story because of the quarantine. I thought it would be fitting. So...
You just made it way too real.
The webcam now showed Bob's room as being just completely trashed and torn apart. The blog post stated that... you're picking up my... Oh, you unplugged your headset. Okay.
I'm almost done with a full bottle of wine, and my dumbass unplugged my
Oh man,
headset.
I haven't even cracked mine open yet.
So,
Wait, the webcam didn't show it getting trashed, but it was on 24/7, and then suddenly it's trashed.
Bob, it was on 24/7, but Bob would turn out the lights for overnight. So, like when he would be sleeping, he would have the lamps and stuff turned off, and
So
all you could really see was the glow of the little LED sign.
Did he?
That
sleep
sounds
with
like-
that?
Well, Bob wrote a blog post stating that he had given up on getting the SDK, that the headaches were getting far too much to bear, and really overall reads that Bob is suffering from very heavy depression. It's probably too impossible to read because of this horrible purple text, but down here it says, really stupid, boring webcam showing some guy developing live. So
I also like the "You suck, Bob" underneath it.
yeah, that's a button that you can press that just like shows a little text pop-up that just says something. I can't remember exactly what. It's not
That sounds
funny.
like something a Nintendo plant would do. Like, this is just getting...
So the internet, it's very unclear what exactly happened, since it did happen overnight with the lights turned out. The internet begins to worry that Bob may have hurt himself, and so somebody somewhere calls the authorities to check up on him. The police burst into his room to find him perfectly healthy and fine.
Oh my god.
So this is also like the first instance of swatting, and it was almost self-imposed.
Basically?
Yes. This is basically like, you know when you're watching like those crime documentaries and you see that they're like, this is the first time they missed like their opportunity to intervene. I feel like this is the first missed opportunity before this really starts to go downhill.
The next day, stage 31, Bob says that he couldn't take his worsening headache anymore and had to end the protest. He claims he can't remember writing many of the blog posts and complains that nobody's taking him seriously anymore.
You know what else a chronic headache is sometimes a sign of? Carbon monoxide poisoning, which also definitely happens in basements.
Or just the fact that he's just inhaling used computer air for like 30 days. Just
However, don't worry. For those of you
worried.
at home who are worried that Bob may have failed the protest, don't worry, because later the very same day, the webcam updates showing Bob in a quote-unquote new office, once again locked inside in protest, but now with a spooky red light.
And some sweet
Whoa.
shoulder spikes. He's dressed like an extra from the Super Mario
oh my
Bros.
god,
movie.
look at him!
He is wearing shoulder pads with spikes on them.
What a stylish fellow.
How did he fabricate those while being barricaded in his office?
They feasibly could be made from, like, if somebody was, like, bringing him, like, 12 packs of soda, maybe he made them out of, like, cardboard or something.
This fucks me up. Wait, is this the same room? Is this a different room?
Here, let's go back.
It's exactly the same setup, but red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same
thing.
room. It's the exact same room,
Okay,
yes.
it's the same room. I
There's-
was like,
there's
is
a
that
lab
going
that's
fucking
changed.
crazy at this point? Like,
At this point, Bob claims that he has now reworked the story of the game, so the player will be fighting against the evil Gantendo Corporation.
Oh, this is the origin story of Neptunia.
Bob also says that every time you play Bob's game, Bob will kill a Pikachu, but he also still
What?
still claims...
wait, no. Slow down. Hold on, what?
Yeah, he says that he will kill a Pikachu every time someone plays Bob's game, the game that is not available to play in any capacity yet. But he also still claims that he really loves Nintendo, and so he begs people not to play Bob's game, which, again, isn't available to play in any capacity.
Okay, dude.
But then how does he propose to do that? Like, what even... Okay.
To be fair, I think that was him just being, like, making a joke and being coy.
You would think so, but at this point, I feel like he's gonna be like, I hacked this Pokemon Blue to kill the Pikachu.
Yes, Parrot, he is still actually working on the mobile port this time. He's doing his development. It's not very clear at the time how he was doing development. I later was able to figure out that he was using some self-made, like, development tools. So he's kind of working on the game for both mobile and Nintendo DS, sort of in tandem, with mobile being the backup plan.
Yep.
So yeah, he's in his brand new office on stage 36, so day 36, 5 days later. The webcam now shows Bob's chair is empty, with the LED tracker reading, "Game over." You can also see some of the text that he wrote.
What?
saying, for those of you at home who can't read it, it says, "That is not me. It's not me. Someone came into my house. They came into my house. They went through everything. Went through my PC. File timestamps changed. Footprints. Everything moved. Door unlocked. They tried to open the safe. My PC is keylogged. 12 hours of camera footage was deleted. Camera was unplugged when I woke up. I was sleeping. They did it while I was sleeping. This is not part of the plan." He says, "This is not a joke. They made Hanafuda cards for 100 years. That is a Yakuza game." Then he repeats, "They are the Japanese mafia. Think about it. They want to silence me for a reason. It's either them or aliens, and I'm pretty sure it's not aliens. I'd rather it be aliens."
It's great because someone could want to silence him, and it could be for a reason, and that reason could just be that it's funny.
So here's my thing, is that, okay, imagine you wake up, you're Bob, and you wake up, and all this shit has happened to you, but before you really post about it, you're like, I gotta change my scrolling text to say game over and take a screenshot. Like,
what if the aliens did that?
Yeah, that's true.
It could be.
The aliens know what game over means.
That is a Yakuza game.
So
this is Kiryu.
So, for those who aren't aware, there were rumors in the 50s and 60s that Nintendo used to work with the Yakuza. So, what Bob is implying here is that Nintendo hired the Yakuza to steal some of his shit. Like, to steal stuff from his computer to try to sabotage him.
He's in the US, right?
He is, yes. I believe he was in California at this time.
Is there any indication of how many people were, like, actually following him at this time?
I was actually following this live, as it was happening. Yes. It was somewhat popular on 4chan at the time, on the video games board.
Huh. I'm really curious to know, like, how many people were actually following this and just being like,
This is an old enough website that I wish it had, like, one of those free HTML web counters on it.
That's exactly what I was going to say, like site visit count.
That's just like it's like on fire or something.
Needless to say, the blog is not in this form anymore, so all of this was taken with the Wayback Machine. I don't think that if there were like viewer counts or hit counts, that they would be updated properly via the Wayback Machine archive.
Somebody would have found out about it too, and
yeah,
like, it would give us a really weird number. But I mean, if there was, like, you know, a like button, or like so many people reblogged this post or whatever, it would kind of give you an indication.
Yeah.
What platform was the blog originally posted on?
I don't actually know. It was the URL was just bobsgame.com, so it was either he made the HTML himself or he was using some service.
Okay, it wasn't his live journal or anything.
It wasn't bobsgame.geocities.com.
No, I don't think it was like Live Journal or GeoCities or anything like that. The site is very simple. It is really just like black background, center aligned text. I would pretty much bet that Bob just coded it himself in HTML.
It looks like one of my Neopets websites I made.
Yeah, he used his Neopets to make.
Like, I could code this when I was very young, so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I like Tara's.
Somebody else had had bobsgame.com, and he had to like figure out a way to get it from them because he knew that he needed that URL for his blog.
That'd be great.
So you start this thing, and then this crazy guy comes in and is like, "No, I need this. This is mine. I need this. It's mine. I will kill you. The Yakuza's coming after you."
Just feeding into each other.
Well, whoever said, I think it was Rob, whoever said that it, maybe it wasn't the Yakuza, maybe it was aliens. Don't worry, because the next day he says that it was, in fact, aliens that raided his room.
Oh,
not the Yakuza.
okay, well,
Alien
public
Yakuza.
apology to the Yakuza. I'm just
However, don't worry, I'm sure everyone watching this is very worried. He confirms that the aliens gave him a computer to work on, and that...
Oh, thank God.
Oh, that's where Alienware came from.
And that he's continuing his protest in an alien spacecraft.
But thank think they took the Reggie side.
No,
He's got two lamps.
What's more important is that there's 2 freaking lamps.
Yes.
Is that like tinfoil on the back wall? Like,
Yes,
what
he covered his wall with tinfoil.
You are shitting me. I just was making that up. Oh my god, and he's wearing like a... know what that is.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Was there a keyboard in that screenshot for Bob's game?
God. Let me go back. There's not a
I was hoping he was trying to model the screenshot in the actual room.
Parrot made a good point though. Bob does have 2 lamps in the game. So
that's what Rob and I was saying. We were both really excited that there was 2 lamps in there.
So he's continuing his protest in an alien spacecraft. The 100-day protest can continue. However, for the first time in over a month, a few days go by where Bob does not make a blog post.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Is the live stream still going?
The live stream is still going, but up to this point, Bob had been posting literally every single day with something.
What's wrong, Bob?
How many hours you work today?
One of the most common things that people say about alien abductions is lost time.
And to answer your question, Gia, I'm not sure exactly what his sleep schedule was, but basically, if he wasn't sleeping or eating or showering or using the bathroom, he was working on Bob's game.
Oh my god, that's horrific. so but actually regular game dev hours.
Yeah. So yeah, standard for the video game industry.
This is why everybody should strive to work in the video game industry. We can all be just like Bob.
Bob goes radio silent until stage 42, where he says that he's telepathically negotiating with the aliens that abducted him, and he teases that stage 50 will be the best, in all caps.
I don't doubt that one bit.
He also writes some stuff about aliens visiting in the past and maybe creating Jesus, but it's kind of unhinged and difficult to follow.
You can't even make a joke about that. It's just
that's it, everybody.
I just kind of yeah, okay, yeah,
sure. And then on February 1st, 2009, stage 49,
so close.
The Bob's Game blog, the history is completely wiped from the site. Up till this
the Bob blog.
Up to this point, you could see everything from his first blog post when he released that initial launch trailer up to the alien invasion. And it was all fully readable in order. But on stage 49, it gets completely wiped, and all you can see is a fake loading screen.
Fourth impact, got it.
Yes. And then, the next day, on stage 50,
On stage 50,
the blog returns with a new video, which we are going to watch.
Oh god, yes.
Yes! Oh my god.
I'm going to switch over and get the video going.
Oh,
that's...
okay, I was like, is that Bob? He looks normal.
I like girls.
I'm so glad you had this all set up nicely for us.
Yeah. All right.
We get to
that's Bob.
Here's Bob.
Oh, he looks like he looks like the lead singer of a new. He's the lead singer of Papa Roach.
He's the younger cousin they're embarrassed of the guy of the Cure.
So
just tying back to the beginning.
So we're for audio balancing reasons, this video is a bit quiet, so let's try to keep a little quiet and provide quieter commentary while we watch this video titled Bob's Game Stage 50, Bob Visits the Nintendo World Store.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, I'm Bob, the developer of Bob's Game. We're in New York City, where we're going to the one and only Nintendo World Store.
Can you put on captions?
Oh, good idea.
Coming soon for the Nintendo DS. This is the developer of Bob's Game, sole developer. Here. All right, Bob's Game, let's do it. All right.
I like how he has cronies for this.
Bob's Game.
One of them's of course wearing a fedora.
We're storming the Capitol.
Oh yes!
This guy.
He made this game and he's released
World premiere on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
This poor man. He's just trying to do his job.
Why are his friends like actually helping with this?
Bob's game that he made.
And that means
right
he
here.
failed because he only made it to 50 days and that was outside.
I like the guy who made the thumbs up there, the guy working there.
There's a poster here.
Yeah, do it.
These girls. I don't understand.
Gotta have 8.
You already said you're for sale. You know exactly what happened.
Oh, it says you on there. Okay.
I'm not that cheap.
Hey, it's Midoriya.
Bob's Game for the Nintendo
Oh my
DS.
god, it is.
Game by one person. That's the tag.
Yeah, there is an upstairs, I guess. How many more?
Hey, ladies. Bob's.
Oh.
Bob's game.
I love the gratuitous boot shot.
Make a big loop. Go back to the register.
Those cost like $100.
Fine.
Tawny said she has those same boots.
Remember Nana Fast Play?
Walking, Bob.
Yeah.
Keep walking. Go left.
Oh my god. He's just.
Okay, you gotta leave now.
Wow. What is he
Yes,
putting?
if you want. Did you
Bob.
get a DS?
Just right Bob's game.
Put out a production here, so, you know.
Is he gonna kill that Pikachu?
Why? Stop with the boot.
That's fine.
Alright, guys, you gotta go now.
Yeah, we're customers.
Okay, you gotta leave now.
We're buying a DS.
You want me to fuck with you?
Give him the business card.
Okay, why didn't you tell me this in the beginning?
Because it's a surprise viral ad.
That's awesome, but you know what? Unfortunately, I have to find out about that.
Bob's Game at the Nintendo World Store. We're going to purchase a DS and we're going to play it here.
You're gonna love it. I know you. You're gonna really love it.
Understandable. That's the reaction.
Yeah, this, I was
Awesome.
Are you gonna play
Take a look at this DS.
I think we should play it.
Let's play this DS.
Play the ass.
Thank you.
Those captions kind of
What's that?
Okay.
There goes the R4 card.
Check it out.
There he is.
Premiere, right here.
Oh my god,
Oh my
it's
God.
working.
Yay!
Oh, the cops are coming for Bob.
Alright. We should probably go.
I didn't even read it.
Somebody's sending Picto Chops.
There goes Bob. He's really
We're gonna suppress him.
Welcome
Yeah,
to Bob's
he's coming.
Game. Thank you for playing.
All right. That was the video for Bob's game.
I'm
stage 50.
sure that like he's trying to be clever, and there's a character in his game called You that we're just never gonna actually find out about.
And U is actually capitalized. The only thing that is.
All right, back to slight preview. So that was for those unaware, that was Nintendo World Store in New York City. Bob showed up. He was tossing around ludicrous amounts of business cards for his game, putting posters on the walls, putting up fake, like, mock game boxes. And yes, they got kicked out.
Yeah, why did he keep that part in the video where the guy says, I have to ask you to leave?
Because they're trying to suppress him.
Exactly. My theory is that he's trying to, like, create this narrative that, like, Nintendo is trying to put down Bob's game and suppress him.
But also at the same time trying to be like, yeah, we're on Nintendo.
Yes.
Just a little bit of cognitive dissonance on that one.
So, on stage 55, so it's been 55 days since Bob started his protest, Bob finally hears back about his developer application.
Oh my god, yes.
Place your bets on whether or not they actually give him an SDK license.
Ooh.
I say yes.
I'm gonna say no, but not because they're denying him, but because they're like, you contacted the wrong or like the wrong person for this. For those inquiries, you have to go through this email.
Yeah, similarly, I think it's a no, but in a way that makes it sound like it's not a hard no, and he takes it as a yes.
It's a hard no. like just straight up no. Like, of course not. However, Bob does keep hyping up the 100-day protest thing, implying he's going to continue the stages and continue protesting. Although the whole point of the protest was to get Nintendo to respond to his SDK application, so it's not really very clear what he's trying to accomplish at this point, other than just continuing the 100-day protests to maybe change Nintendo's mind. It's really unclear what he's trying to accomplish at this point.
What day did he get rejected on?
What day did he get rejected on?
I think it was 55.
Okay, who was closest in the chat? I'm gonna scroll back up. I saw 69 at one point. Somebody says 2 years, 69, 60. Oh, it looks like Kill Arc win, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is, he does actually continue the protest. He still is showing the live stream footage of him working in solitary confinement.
So was the New York video filmed previous to him starting the protest?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't believe so. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, he took down the webcam when he uploaded that video. So presumably, because remember the day before the webcam went down and showed a fake loading screen. So presumably he filmed it during that day, and then when he got back, uploaded the video.
Okay, so he's pretending like his protest is continuing, but it's really not because he's
just one day. Cut the guy some slack. Maybe that's why they declined his thing, was because he didn't like uphold the law of the protest.
Ooh,
he went out for one day.
The laws of the protest.
It's a hunger strike with snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob continues his protest on stage 64. So it's been a little over 2 months now. Bob declares that Bob's game will only be available for mobile devices and Nintendo DSi homebrew flashcards. He also says that it'll come out on Open Pandora, which was a really weird handheld homebrew console that nobody knows about.
That sounds really familiar, actually.
Yeah, it was not
really
successful in any capacity. The Open Pandora. Feel free to Google that if you want.
I definitely remember hearing about that. They were making me feel
wasn't
old.
he only making it for the DS and also mobile? Why is he saying it's only coming out on these when he was only developing it for those? Like...
Well, no, he's saying it'll only come out on mobile and the DS flash carts. Like
okay.
The pirate homebrew
official...
flash carts. Yeah, it won't be officially released for the DS. He also speculates again that that it being on the flash carts may kill the DSi.
I mean, if you mean break your system,
Unfortunately, not much really interesting happens for the next couple of weeks. After Stage 64, there's basically just radio silence for a while. Bob periodically checks in to remind people he's alive, but nothing really entertaining happens. He still has this webcam that we're showing on screen with the purple lights and the tinfoil.
It was very nice of the aliens to just let him come down to Earth for a day to go to the Nintendo World
Yeah,
Tour.
it was. Very sweet.
On Stage 90, so now for 3 months he's been in solitary confinement, Bob uploads another video titled The Legend of Bob. We won't be showing this because it's like 10 minutes long, and we got other shit to cover. In the video, Bob claims that he had uncovered a conspiracy in the game industry, that Nintendo was explicitly trying to keep good games from being released to keep their production costs down.
Because that makes sense.
So this isn't the beginning of Gamergate, then?
No. However, it
so
is...
He's also an economics genius, too.
Yes.
It is worth noting that at the time, this was at the height of the Wii's popularity, and there was a bit of a mentality amongst quote-unquote gamers that Nintendo had stopped making quality games and was only interested in casual shovelware. So he's kind of banking on that, or not banking on it, but he's kind of taking advantage of that mentality that was prevalent at the time.
I mean, if you looked at Zeller's shelves at the time for what games were available for Wii, you can kind of understand that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, the Wii was one of the most popular and well-selling consoles of all time. So, I mean, it makes sense if it's a really popular console, there's just going to be a shitload of games. And if there's a shitload of games, a lot of them are going to be bad.
Bob's game is going to have serious competition with Ninja Bread Man.
It's also kind of sad that Ninja Bread Man got the Nintendo stamp of approval, and he didn't.
Ninja Bread Man is a real game.
We should stream Ninja Bread Man.
No, we shouldn't. It's garbage.
So
the only good thing about it is the name.
So, in the video, he says that, there's this whole conspiracy theory that Nintendo is explicitly trying to keep good games from being released to keep their own production costs down, and that his blog so far was, this whole, thing was him trying to expose this to the world. Halfway through the video, though, he it's just footage of this whole time up to this point, it's footage of the game, with Bob voicing over it, but then it cuts and shows a video of Bob looking straight into the camera, and he reveals that Bob's game is a game about a game called Bob's Game.
Oh my god. It's like when I can have my Sims play The Sims.
He claims that the whole bit about the Nintendo conspiracy is actually the story of Bob's Game, and that the blog was him telling the backstory of the video of Bob's Game's villain, Bob, from Bob's perspective.
This is getting really red pill. What is happening?
Yeah, isn't this also when the Matrix sequels were just come out recently?
Yeah, the Matrix was still fresh in everybody's mind at this point, I think.
He looks like a Matrix fan.
Yes, he does.
Yes. So the idea is that the blog up to this point was a viral marketing campaign showing how the villain of Bob's Game came to be. So that's why he wore the spiky shoulder pads. He was trying to literally become a villain, to show how the villain of Bob's Game came to be. He says that the game itself, Bob's Game, would be an RPG about trying to find a puzzle game made by Bob. The video ends with the camera on the floor and Bob like walking up to it, leaning over and screaming into the camera that the blog wasn't real and it was all viral advertising for Bob's game.
Please tell me he was wearing those same boots.
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
For Ukini-chan in the chat asking who is you, you is the protagonist of Bob's game.
Wait,
So-
it's not Bob?
No, so Bob is the
What?
villain of Bob's game. You is the protagonist of Bob's game.
Do you guys remember that time when The Legend of Ganon came out?
What?
Be like the next Zelda game comes out and it's just The Legend of Ganon.
Super Bowser kin?
Or
So
I guess we did just get Bowser's Fury, so yeah.
I guess.
a
But
few days later, Bob uploads a video showing him staging him wrecking the room.
A few days later, Bob what?
Oh,
well,
Bob
he's
what
not-
deal?
are we
Come
good?
back here,
I
aliens.
kinda- are we good?
I also just realized that Donkey Kong was also the villain in Donkey Kong.
Ah, crap.
Well,
Oh,
He's coming back.
Are we good? Okay.
are we
maybe?
back? I think.
Is the stream
My
down?
God, like the Yakuza got to us.
The Yakuza
Yeah.
got to us. Oh no.
Trying to
Okay,
surprise
okay.
it.
The stream is back up. I think we're good. Okay.
Yeah, stream's back up.
Don't worry, you guys. It was
Okay.
just the Yakuza.
All right.
Alien did it.
Let me get
Alien
things
Yakuza.
set back up.
Oh,
All right. I think we're good.
yay.
So a few days later, Bob uploads a video of him staging the room wrecking.
Oh god, we just shut up to 30 people somehow too.
So yeah, he shows a video of him staging him wrecking his own room, and also it includes some shots of him supposedly staging some shots from the Nintendo World video. So like when he dropped all those business cards on the floor, that was actually like the floor of his apartment, stuff like that.
Please tell me you downloaded the demo.
No, that wasn't. That wasn't the floor of his apartment. That was very obviously Nintendo.
Yeah, well, needless to say, a lot of the internet is not convinced by any of this.
That was just, it was
Why?
lit blue. Like, it was the floor.
Like
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of the internet is very convinced that the protest was 100% real, and
It was.
and Bob was just trying to like save face with this whole it was a viral marketing thing, and that like all of the Nintendo Store stuff was real. I do have a little bit of knowledge that shines some light on this, but we'll be getting to that later because this story
was-
is not over.
It was way too cringe to not be real. Like,
Paris says this has the same energy as Tommy Wiseau insisting he was writing a black comedy.
Oh, exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
it's very Tommy Wiseau. Like, he just doesn't get it at first.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But yes, on stage 100, day 100 of the protest, Bob releases a demo of the game, and also teases Project 2 is in the works. And yes, Don, since you
yes.
asked, I have downloaded the demo, and we
Oh
will
my
play it
God.
at some point, probably after we're done.
Hey, we're getting a demo of the second project and the first isn't even launched yet?
Yes,
like,
he is hyping up Project 2. Gives zero details on what Project 2 is. He just says Project 2 is going to be coming, and that's it. However, at this point, Bob goes radio silent for
Oh, no.
years.
Oh
Oh my
wow!
God.
Yes.
We are
Where's
getting
Bob's
an anime
game?
time skip here. It's
Yes,
like
this
watching
is the
Hajime no
anime
Ippo
time
all
skip.
over again.
Aside from very minor tweaks to the website, and this all happened like the final update, Stage 100, was I think in like March of 2009, maybe April, and the blog isn't like majorly updated until March 2011.
Oh my God.
So 2 years go by with no updates. Everyone at
It's
this
so
point.
hard to resist going to the website right now.
Oh, don't
But
go to the
you
website
still
yet.
do
Don't
it.
go to the website yet. Do
yeah,
not. Do not.
it's so tempting.
But he was still like paying to have the website hosted and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. I mean, so he still is trying to hype up Bob's game. Like I think at the time there was like an official forum, and everyone just at this point assumes Bob is just quietly working on the game in the background, and that his protest thing didn't work, so he's just developing the game like a normal human now.
No more stream.
Normal human, but still wearing platform boots.
Hey, it was 2000. It was 2010, 2009. We can.
Normal
that was the style at the time.
But if he's like doing it as a normal human, I don't know. That sounds like something an alien would say.
Yes, I am doing normal human activities.
So, the blog is eventually updated in March 2011, hyping up the quote final stage. So
I'm really excited for this.
Who wants to place bets on what the final stage is?
Dr. Willie Castle.
The final stage has got to be like not releasing anything at this point.
The final stage is storming the Nintendo of America headquarters.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, like you gotta go right for Reggie.
We gotta let the chat get some time to get some guesses in there too.
This concerns me so much because I remember there was an event in Seattle where Reggie like went to a McDonald's and would play Mario Kart against people on DS, and it's like, what if Bob just showed up there? Like,
oh my God, history
like,
would happen.
It's just
And
concerning to me.
Figured out a way to change it so he wasn't playing Mario Kart, but he was playing Bob's game against Reggie.
Uses that alien technology to hack Reggie's DS.
VR
Makes
stage
Reggie
is a
kill
good
a
guess,
Pikachu.
Ukini-chan, but this was 2011, so VR wasn't like a widespread thing yet, unfortunately.
Oh, I hope he made like a McDonald's toy style thing for Bob.
Oh, that would be good.
Para says
just like supply.
So Para in the chat says the final stage is going to be the Ouya port. I'm going to give a little bit of spoilers. Ouya will be brought up at some point.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Yes,
no.
yes.
Okay, everyone, please watch our previous stream on the Ouya
Yes,
for further
please watch the
context.
video for the Ouya. It's so good.
So the final stage is the ND portable gaming console.
No, he's gonna make his own damn call. I mean, if Nintendo's not gonna help, like,
So ND, as you can see, stands for Indie Handheld Console. He releases a couple short trailers for it. The announcement video advertises it will be sold for $10 and would be
wow,
and that it would be faster and more powerful than the DS.
No.
stupid Nintendo like cardboard shit is more expensive than that. Like,
I almost feel like you made this picture just to give us some thanks, Doc.
No, this is the actual picture from the website, by the way. I did not create this or edit this in any way.
Ferris says, somehow this is more ridiculous than anything any of us said. I kind of agree.
So, here are some specs that he advertises for the ND.
Oh, cheap.
Comparing to comparing it to the PSP, and
that was an
I also
I
like
wanna
that he
play-
says the PSP 2. I don't think the Vita had actually been announced at this point, and he's just assuming that the PSP 2 will just be more of the same.
That was
I
an
don't know about
iPhone shit, man.
Dude,
Like,
I wanna play something on the Canoe. Like, that's got to be the most Canadian console ever made.
I have no idea what the Canoe or what its relation to the Wiz is. I also don't know what the Wiz is, or the Dingu.
oh yeah, touchscreen.
The Dingo is
PSP
the
2.
Australian version.
Did the dingo eat your Bob?
Apparently,
Oh my God, your
it's
accent.
Asia only. Oh, sorry, Canadians. You
What
don't
is-
get your canoe.
Damn it.
What is soda?
Fine, we'll play on the toboggan then. That'll be our console.
I also like that. Yeah, he just lists sorta for some things.
Soon.
Buttons.
Everything else is yes. Wait, It's oh my god, it's so bad.
I mean, he was right that the PSP2 had a touchscreen.
Yeah, so maybe this is 2011. Maybe Sony had announced some info about the Vita, but hadn't like actually revealed it yet. If I was a good person, I would have actually done the research on that, but I didn't. So here we are.
I
also
question,
like
what
how...
is
Oh, what is that, Gia?
openly brandable? What does it mean?
My best guess there is that like anyone can make stuff for it. I think.
Okay.
So like yeah, like a big angle here is that anyone can develop for it. It's very similar to the Ouya actually, and I believe this was before the Ouya. So like he's advertising like, "Oh, anyone can make a game for it. You don't need approval from a mean company that will deny you after you do a 100-day protest."
I like that he could have made it look super good for his ND, put everything as yes or soon, but he just was like, touchscreen, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah, he just left the touchscreen bit out. I don't know why he meant
absolutely not.
Why he felt the need to mention a weakness.
But it does advertise that it's got buttons.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I do like that he advertises that it has buttons. Also, I like that whatever the Wiz/Kanu mentions it only has Wi-Fi with an adapter. I have no idea what it is, but I imagine just this wireless, like this portable console that you have to buy is this giant bulky adapter for.
Axum commented, by the way, apparently the Canoe is a Linux handheld.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Asia only, I'm sure it lasted like a year.
I don't know, man. They've had some weird, long-lasting console things in China, like the GameCube version or whatever, like the Wii one. It was sold until like 2019.
Canoe emulators. My thoughts on some emulators and apps on Canoe. That was posted in 2012. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it looks like a knockoff PSP. Like it's really ugly.
So, one thing that I found really funny. So, he eventually updates the Bob's Game website to finally just look like a normal website without crazy blog posts or weird cryptic messages. He is advertising Bob's Game as like the launch title and killer app for the ND gaming system. It also includes a link to a site made specifically for the ND, which is unfortunately also just boringly normal. One thing I found funny though is here's one of the websites that was up at the time, and it has this weird like glowing thing around the text, and I just thought it was funny that it fucks with the Wayback Machine and shows the glowing effect around like the text of the Wayback Machine, which I thought was just hilarious.
That's bizarre.
It's just so powerful that it even messes with the future.
I love how like not really ominous, but like subtly ominous. It's like the ND is near.
It's not really exciting.
It's not here. It's just around. Like he's down at the gas station. Like we'll be here in 20 minutes. Like,
the indie is here. Like are you like Jones or what? Like who?
So the website remained boring and normal for about 2 years, and then in January of 2013, Bob updated the blog to once again show a live stream of him working on a computer.
Pixelated.
Yes.
wow.
It was pixelated.
I like how he has money for like a room set up.
He's
2 lamps,
He's slowly
but not for a
turning into
webcam.
Bob.
Also,
He's been turned into the game.
I can see that.
I'm not totally sure if it's pixelated because it's just horrible quality, or if it was really small and then blown up, or if he put a filter over it. This was 2013, so webcam technology was actually starting to get, like, good webcams were actually reasonably affordable, so I'm really not sure why it looks so pixelated.
Okay, couple things. First, what is the significance of it being green? Again.
Honestly,
and
I think he just likes green. I think maybe he just likes having a green workplace.
Okay, 2, is that an elephant on the right?
It It looks
Yes,
like
it is.
it.
It does
So
look like
we
an
are
elephant.
going to talk about the elephant in the room.
It
I
might be
hate-
unclear, but I would like to clarify that he has like black trash bags covering the walls.
Yeah,
What
that's
happened to
definitely
the
not clear.
keyboard?
Oh, the keyboard is gone. I don't know what happened to the
Keyboard's
keyboard.
gone.
He gave
And what-
up his only thing. Oh no.
What's in the bottom left? It says like I9.
Looks like it. I've got no clue at all what that is. So
We're
take some
getting meta
guesses.
again.
Paris says yes, he clearly finished the soundtrack by now. However, this was very quickly proven to just be like a fake webcam. It was just like not actually live, like it was just looping.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah,
What?
Why?
That seems like more effort than just having a webcam
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, and I'll also clarify that he's not like hyping up any protest or anything like that. It is literally just a fake webcam showing him working.
What's the point?
I don't know, because there was no blog post like along with this. There was nothing talking about why it happened. It just appeared one day.
Is the webcam like GIF or JPEG? What kind of format?
In the Wayback Machine, it shows up as a GIF, but I honestly am not sure if it is if it
It's
actually
just loop
was.
GIF.
It might legitimately have just been a looped GIF, but the Wayback Machine admittedly might be messing with that, so I'm not sure.
Though maybe that's why it's so pixelated, because it just like he just ripped some of like this webcam footage and just made it into a GIF very hastily. Like,
Yeah, it's like not even his room. He just like went on Twitch, found somebody else's.
Oh yeah, somebody else with 2 green lamps and black trash bags on the walls.
I'm hard pressed to say those are lamps. They're more just like bars of light at this point.
So
They're alien technology.
also
This picture is
Bioluminescent lights.
This picture's giving me Commander Keen vibes.
Also around this time, so my personal theory is that Bob uploaded this to distract from the fact that the ND's website was taken down without a word.
I mean, my thought is that that's a body double, and this is just like some Yakuza alien scheme or something. Like,
It's just like a hoodie filled with straw.
Just a scarecrow in front of a screen.
It would have similar hair to him, so checks out.
it's true.
So yeah, there's no more ND. He doesn't mention it ever again.
That
And-
is the ND.
Yep. There's no blog post. The live stream, the quote unquote live stream, kind of just stays like this for quite a long time. It also gets a little weird sometimes.
Well,
Interesting.
So this is when he discovered Yumniki, right?
I was gonna say we Undertale now, apparently. Like,
it's freaking me out actually.
The number of eyes changes at some point. This was the most number of eyes at one point. I am fairly certain these are not edited in post. I have reason to believe that they are actual paper eyes that he has taped on to his wall, and because he taped them on the outside of black trash bags, it makes them stand out more and look like they're edited in. But I actually believe they are not edited in. They are actually on his wall.
That's freaking me out. Man.
This is the Kirby game now. Yeah, I agree with Para.
Wayo!
Eventually, at some point, the site mentions that Bob's game is now an MMO.
Oh, excuse me?
This never gets brought up again, and he drops it fairly quickly. Just for a small period of time, he was just hyping Bob's game up as an MMO, and then changed his mind.
Something dropped that was an MMO at that time. Like, that's the only thing I could consider is like, oh, hey,
Wait, what year was
Warcraft.
this? Yeah.
This was
I was gonna say-
This was 2013, the end of 2013. So World of Warcraft had been very
think it's
successful
like
for a
a-
long time by now.
Oh yeah.
If it was right around the time, like a year or two after WoW's launch, I would definitely buy into that. But I think he's just trying to get attention really. I think that's just
Yeah.
it. So then, actually, this was not in 2013. This was early 2013. By November 2013, Bob decides to turn to Kickstarter.
Oh, thank God. Now we can really make this game by
Why
one
not
person.
Indiegogo?
He decides to turn to Kickstarter to get funding for Bob's game, which he is now hyping up to be released on the Ouya.
Oh
Yes.
my God. I mean, at least he could legitimately get this game on the Ouyas.
That is the one console it could end up on, yeah.
Yeah, Ouya was
I hope-
super desperate for games at the time. He easily could have gotten probably actual money from Ouya.
Yeah, like this could. Oh my God! Like this is actually something that might happen.
So for the Kickstarter, Bob asked for about $7,000. I think it was like 600 or 6,900 something.
He fucking would.
Place your bets now on how much money Bob raised over the course of this Kickstarter.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay, so is 4chan still interested in it?
By this point, the internet at large has just completely forgotten about Bob. Like, they were interested for the few months that he was doing the protest, but then they almost completely forgot about him.
I'm gonna say, like...
That doesn't mean they forgot about Bob's game, though.
That is true. There are people like me who still remembered Bob's game.
I want to say, like, a solid $13.
I like Axum's 420 and 69 cents.
420.69, baby.
Yeah,
Mm.
around the hundreds for sure.
I'm gonna say, like... What?
Gil, did you contribute?
I did not contribute. I unfortunately did not know about the Kickstarter as it was happening, or I probably would have contributed just for the fun.
I'm gonna say like 600, but it's probably gonna be like 10,000.
I say $125.
All right. The amount raised was $477.
Oh, I was pretty close.
Oh, Axum is...
Axum was the closest.
It's not. It was
damn.
Just Live. 769 was the closest. Congratulations. I'm sorry you had to guess that close.
So, I was wrong. His goal was $6,667.
Okay, so it's unsuccessful though, so he doesn't get anything.
No, yeah, it was unsuccessful. He does not get any money from it.
But he still had a picture of the ND on there?
Yes, he still had the picture of the ND on there, even though he has wiped all mentions of the ND from his blog, from the Kickstarter, from everything.
Listen,
now
we already
it's
have
just
the
one
assets,
PC.
so just use the assets if we already have them.
So, observant viewers might have noticed something here. It says, the legendary Bob's Game puzzle game
I noticed
from
that before. I
inside
like,
the
wait a
Bob's
minute.
Game RPG. Oh, I clicked the
Whoop.
thing. There we go. So, yes, this is not a Kickstarter for the RPG Bob's Game.
Oh, it's for the inside of the Bob's.
Yes,
oh my
this is a
God.
Kickstarter for the puzzle game within the
that was-
RPG Bob's Game.
Oh my
That
God.
was so confusing the first time you said it, but I just kind of played it off. I was like, I mean, the dude's just being Bob, I guess. So, yeah, all right.
Okay, real quick. When was this kickstarted again? Like, when did the Kickstarter start?
It started in November of 2013, and it
Okay,
ended
then-
December 15th, 2013.
Why is the last update 2017?
Actually, I got a theory. That's his last when he's logged into internet. Because
yeah.
I'm looking at his GitHub pages. He also logged off for 2017.
I also have a question. What year did Inception come out?
Let's find out. It came out.
2010.
2010, so yeah, he's Inception-ish, I guess. But he did mention the whole puzzle game within an RPG in 2009, so you could say Bob's Game was an inspiration to Christopher Nolan for the movie Inception.
Yeah,
it was
Inception
clearly
is that
stolen
whole
from
era.
Bob's Game.
Hey, you
that
can't
what
prove
they're
that he
there?
didn't.
It's a little known fact that the original title of Inception was Bob's Game.
Bob's movie.
I hate that 37 people.
Right? If
And
we
that
were,
your
if,
37's a lot.
we could have
and
made
that-
this 38 or 39.
We could have.
Yeah, and that your husband would have backed it if it would exist.
I mean, my husband is currently listening to a podcast called Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, and I asked him why didn't he buy this guy's book already? Like,
It's a podcast about whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's. I highly recommend everybody
yes.
go listen to it. It's good.
I
Anyways,
don't know if that was a
so
thing in Canada, but yes, carry on.
needless to say, the Kickstarter was unsuccessful, but Bob wasn't about to let a failed Kickstarter stop him. This is
Goddamn
Bob.
right he wasn't.
In April of 2014, so 4 months later, he launched another Kickstarter campaign. This time
hope it-
for the
I'm
real
so excited.
RPG game, Bob's Game.
wait, so this is for the RPG and not the puzzle game inside of the RPG.
Correct.
Apparently, the puzzle game was better than the RPG, though, according to this first Kickstarter, because it says it's the greatest game ever made.
So, in the
I
description
mean,
of the Kickstarter...
I do spend a lot of time playing Triple Triad.
That's fair. I guess Gwent is also a thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the description of the second Kickstarter, Bob claims that if the second Kickstarter fails, he will cancel all development on Bob's game. It's his final stand, his last-ditch effort to get Bob's game
I don't
made.
believe that. There's no way that's happening.
So, along with the Kickstarter, Bob finally updates the Bob's Game blog, which had kind of just been sitting just boring with just like a link to forums and
You
some
and I
basic
both know
info.
there's nothing boring about this.
Blob.
The Bob blog. Well,
Blob.
so this update to the website is to give information and backstory on the Kickstarter, so that people will know Bob's story and the development of the game and stuff like that. It's written by Bob, and is over 75,000 words long.
What the fuck? Like,
So
wait, how
that'll be
many
the
pages
next
is
panel
that?
we do, right?
So for reference, that is roughly about as long as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
For his tragic backstory?
And
For the subscription, or for the backstory of the Kickstarter. It's like not even the game. It's just the history.
it is the backstory of the Kickstarter in the sense that it is the story of Bob's life from childhood to present day.
The
How many-
villain,
how
or
Many-
It is
many
literally an autobiography about Bob's life.
Okay,
How
how
many
many
times-
words is this again?
I don't have the exact word count, but it's over 75,000.
How many
Over
times?
seven.
How many times are the boots mentioned?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
It is.
Ugh.
Is it Bob's life in the game or Bob's life in real life?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to.
yes to both.
So, here is it is huge. It is a massive wall of text. There are photos, a surprisingly large number of photos. Here is a screenshot from it. I will have you guys know, I am possibly the only person who has read most of this document.
Oh, there's Jesus!
Yes, there is Jesus up there.
Is that Bob?
Well, maybe.
Oh my
So-
god! Don't say yes. This is the toilet joke all
So-
over again.
So, when I first came across this, I was like, okay, this is crazy. I'm not reading this. And then I later
wait, I'm
on
pointing
decided
at-
to skim over it and saw more and more weird and crazy things. And eventually I just said, screw it, I have to read this. And I spent like 3 days just reading this. There were
He
so...
stayed up. Oh my god. Like, he stayed up until, like, really late, and he would come into bed, and I'd be like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I was reading Bob's.
Like the
Oh, no.
windows.
His
in
mom
each
is
other reading it.
his mom is a specialist in child development with a master's degree, and she ended up with this.
So, so the text is about Bob's entire life, from his earliest memories to up until as he was actively writing it. There's a ton of incredibly personal details about Bob in this. Some highlights that I've picked
I
out.
see something right there. It just says, just like in Earthbound, I had to give up myself.
Yes.
Like in Earthbound.
Whoa, spoilers.
That's not even something that happens in Earthbound. What are you saying?
Some of the highlight. I say highlights, so I will give a content warning. I would not really recommend people read this if you have some kind of like really bad traumatic experiences in your past, because Bob goes over some of them in surprising detail. There's a lot of information about how his mom like emotionally abused him. And like he even includes stories of him like wetting the bed as a kid. His struggles with addiction to like porn, cigarettes, Ritalin. He also mentions how he read Atlas Shrugged on a hacked Game Boy Advance.
Oh man, that's the only way to do it.
Also, he says his Razer mouse was stealing children's souls.
Yes. Needless to say, so the first about 2/3 to 3/4 of this is just a fairly sane and honestly kind of interesting, in a very bizarre way, recount of his life. But the last third to a quarter of it, which is roughly modern day when he was writing this, is very unhinged and rambly and very time cubey. Reading this, at first I thought Bob was just some dude who was just an eccentric game developer. This leads me to believe he might actually have some kind of actual, like, untreated mental disorder.
That just makes me feel bad for giggling at I had become a warlock.
Yes, he actually does believe...
Get all the bitches.
He does go into his beliefs that he does think that he has, like, actual magical powers, and that other people have magical powers. A lot of the text is about how he believes people are mind controlling him. However, the blog, this giant post, does go over the actual truth of his protest and what he actually did and the actual, development of the game. The protest was actually, like, really nothing new for him, because he talks multiple times about how he would just, like, barricade himself indoors so he could work and just focus on working. He would seal doors with foam, cover them in black plastic, and even screw boards to them, like, from the inside, like a cartoon.
My God.
He would try to make it literally as difficult for him to get out of his own rooms as he could, so that he could just work on Bob's game, always. He would also just, like, cover the walls with notes he'd written. Both game development notes, but also just, like, motivational ones to keep him motivated and working.
I mean, I remember going to your place in LA and you had game development notes all over your wall.
That's true. Maybe that's just a game development thing.
Bob and I,
we rip on
the same coin.
we rip on the dude, but he's got better work ethic than any of us.
Yep. He does, that's true. Bob does detail when he actually spoke to the Nintendo rep in person. Remember that all the way back when, that he mentioned meeting with a Nintendo representative?
Yeah.
He met with a Nintendo rep at Game Developers Conference. He admits that he initially emailed the Nintendo rep while, quote, coked up on Ritalin, but eventually the representative did agree to meet with him. He showed his demo off to the representative and two Japanese employees who seemed like they really enjoyed the game, supposedly. And the rep at that moment asked Bob if he would be willing to work with his own team at Nintendo, and Bob refused.
What?
I don't think that actually.
Honestly, I could see that happening just based on what I know of artists, and like, because there's definitely those artists out there who wouldn't want to work with the team because it's gonna like impede on their vision.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially if the artist doesn't know like how critical a team is. Like,
yeah, that
game design games. Yeah, it's one of those things you need a team to get into, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, that was my reading of it. Everything in this autobiography is so candid that I was 100% willing to believe that happened. And Bob did describe it basically exactly like that he wanted it to be his game that he was making on his own, and that he did not want a team to ruin it or spoil it or anything like that.
Oh, I see. So it's like the dream of being an indie dev, but like
Yeah.
not actually understanding how
Right.
game industry actually works.
Yep.
And feeling like a perfectionist, which also kind of explains why it'll never actually be finished.
Yep. Upon returning back to his home from Game Developers Conference, Bob just told his parents that the representative had offered him a dev team, and that, which I guess is technically true, but I'm under the impression he left out the part where he turned him down. And so his folks rented him an office space to work in.
Oh, okay. At least they're supportive.
And shortly after this, for those of you who were asking like where he got the money for this, because there was some kind of rumblings about that, around this time, his great aunt passed away, and he inherited $100,000 from her.
God damn.
Bitcoins.
So this made him realize he had the money to make his game happen, and after some encouragement from his dad, he went and that's when he posted the original Bob's Game trailer. So he's like, oh my god, I have all this money, I can make Bob's Game happen. Time to hype it up.
Okay, I see the thought process in this. So.
Yeah. His background on the protest, he reveals that it was sort of fake. He faked the room trashing, and he actually was taken to a psych ward over it.
Oh my god.
I have a question.
Yes.
What stage is he now in?
What stage?
Yeah, what stage is this?
400 something?
Yeah, I don't know. He has stopped keeping track of the stages, unfortunately. At the psych ward, he actually received a document claiming him officially sane. Unfortunately, he did not post a photo of the document claiming he was sane. I was really hoping.
Officially
saying he was not donkey brained.
So he's qualified to be president?
And Rob, you were right. He totally cheated the protest. A lot of times, since all the windows were covered, he would turn off the lights to be, quote, sleeping, and then he'd just head outside.
Oh my god, he faked the whole thing. I feel betrayed.
He also mentions that often when he would go outside, it would be going to strip clubs.
So
Oh, hell yeah.
barred the door, but not the windows?
I think he boarded up the windows so that no natural light could get in, so that people couldn't tell, so that he could just turn off the lights and make it seem like he's sleeping. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, to keep himself in there, he had his friend board up the door from the outside, but then he just goes out the window.
Oh, I don't think the door was actually boarded up from the outside. I think he was just lying.
Oh,
about
okay.
That. One of my favorite bits, those Asian girls from the Nintendo Store video.
Oh, I've been dying.
yeah.
I knew there was something else with that. I
Yeah,
just
there's
fucking
no
knew
way
it.
they would just hang out with him.
He hired them from Craigslist
God damn it.
for the
Okay.
video.
I would love to see that Craigslist ad. I wish that was archived.
Oh my
somewhere.
god. He said that he said that he
I'd
wanted.
like to talk to those girls and ask them what other ads they've accepted.
Yeah.
He said that he wanted cute Japanese girls, like how Nintendo,
Oh, of course.
like how Nintendo would have at E3. So that was his whole shtick.
Yes.
Nintendo has cute Japanese girls for E3 presentations. I should have cute Asian girls for my raid on the Nintendo World Store.
I mean, if you
Oh my
wanted
God.
cheap booth bags or booth babes, we're always available.
True.
He also reveals that he never intended to ever make the ND. He kind of just came up with the idea and released it, hoping someone would steal the idea and make it before him.
So he doesn't have to do it?
Literally,
He's
yes.
credited making the Ouya.
He did go into a little bit about his logic behind why he said it would only cost $10, and this actually sort of makes sense in a very weird logic.
I'm
No, it
excited.
doesn't. There's no way.
His logic behind the idea of a handheld console costing $10 was digital watches. So, when digital watches were first introduced, they were like a luxury item that cost hundreds of dollars. But then, by like the late 90s, early 2000s, technology had advanced so far that making a digital watch was ridiculously cheap, that you could literally put a digital watch in like a cereal box. So his logic was, if digital watches can become that cheap, what's to stop handheld gaming from eventually becoming that cheap? And thus, he thought up this dream console, this dream handheld console, that would be so cheap that you could just get it in a cereal box.
I feel like there was Tiger Electronics games that came in
Yeah.
cereal boxes. So
I was gonna say that happened at one point. Like they had like those handheld ones that only play one thing.
Right.
And
That-
they featured buttons just like this.
They did feature buttons.
They did, that's true. As the autobiography goes on, he eventually reveals that he believes he was a slave under mind control and that his parents were reading his thoughts. As far as I can tell, I don't believe he's saying this like jokingly. I think he just sincerely believes that his parents can read his mind and that he is under some form of mind control. He also believes that the video game industry is a cult and that video games hypnotize children, citing the back.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw down there that it's like a mouse's plastic handcuffs subconsciously just keeping children locked up as they lived on a screen. This sounds like Fox News. Like,
Oh my god, the origin story of Tucker Carlson.
Don, you'll really like this. He has an example for video games hypnotizing children. His example are the scrolling backgrounds of Earthbound.
he keeps bringing Earthbound up. Wait, so he talks about how that's hypnotizing children, but he doesn't talk about there's literally like psychic powers in Earthbound. Just the background.
No, because that's just like video game spells. It's not real psychic powers.
How do you know that? Maybe there are real psychic powers in Earthbound.
So
I've read enough creepypasta to know that could be real.
So here is like for a long time, up until I read this document, I was totally willing to believe, okay, the Bob's Game protest was kind of real in that he probably was really butthurt that Nintendo wouldn't give him a license, but he probably did fake the whole, like all of his posts about how Nintendo's jealous and how threatened they feel. I assumed that was just him, hype it, cheesing it up, hamming it up for the internet, because he was really getting a fairly good amount of attention at the time. So I'm going to read an excerpt from this autobiography for you guys. That
please do. Give us a nice dramatic reading.
That I think this leads me to believe that almost literally everything in the Bob's Game protest was written sincerely. Quote, I realized that the reason my game had gotten the reaction that it had was because it was too good and it was by a single individual. I had unknowingly presented people with something so brilliant that it hacked into their mind and made their own insecurities apparent. They reacted by compulsively lashing out at me, desperate to find some flaw, some opening, desperate to save themselves from enslavement. Unable to find anything, they created their own narrative trying to frustrate me. It worked. That's why they killed Jesus. He was too great, and people simply couldn't understand it. Unable to find a flaw, they killed him, rather than fall in love with him. Afterwards, their guilt destroyed their minds. He had overpowered all of society, and we reset the clock in his name. It's a riddle. A human being can become a god. End quote.
Okay.
I mean, at least the Beatles were the most popular band in the world when they claimed to be bigger than Jesus.
This feels like a plot for a Persona game or something.
No, it sounds like at the end of Persona 3, it's like just showing the clouds and this is rolling past.
But it's also worth noting that the header for the website at this point, when you its name in a window or a tab, was the New Testament.
This is getting bad. Wait, how old is he at this point, essentially?
I think this
It's got to be 34, 35.
This is 2013.
Oh, 2013?
This
Oh,
is
I thought it was-
2013.
He's 30?
So he's maybe 30.
Okay.
Late 20s, yeah.
Late 20s, early 30s. Bob mentions that he's convinced he had become a prophet and began studying the Bible for symbolism, specifically looking
Oh,
for
dear.
prophecies about him personally in the Bible.
I mean, it's a lot of metaphor in there, right? So I am excited to see what he pulls out as him.
Yeah, did he find
he
him?
never goes into detail about what he finds, unfortunately.
Aw.
Yeah, sad.
All he had to do to find Jesus was look in the mirror.
I would not want my Jesus to be called Bob.
He basically reveals that he is convinced that he's become a prophet. He also thought that he had some kind of latent powers that allowed him to take down companies. He was sure that he had, quote, somehow knocked down Google, Sony, and other companies, admitting himself he didn't know how he did it, just that he knew somehow that he had taken them down.
And down they stay.
Yes.
They never recovered.
After reading this, or while I was reading most of this, I started feeling a little bad, oh no, I don't want to pick on him if he's just mentally ill. But quite a lot of this is really terrible misogyny, and particularly about his mom. But yeah, this really leads me to believe he is not a very good person, so I'm totally willing to make fun of him anyways.
I mean, you saw his boots. We
Yes.
all knew that.
Mental health is not something to make fun of, but jerks who...
Misogynists are.
But misogynists are, exactly.
Down with men.
Agreed. So remember, this was all released to hype up the Kickstarter for the Bob's Game RPG.
Oh my God,
remember
I
that?
forgot about that.
Remember the Kickstarter?
Oh yeah, remember he's making a game.
I am Jesus, give me your money.
Also in the Kickstarter, we're getting back to the Kickstarter now. Bob mentions that he's going to be using the money to build a new laptop and, quote, a hack van.
What? Wait.
A hack. H-A-C-K. He says that the van would be a cargo or shuttle van filled with solar panels, batteries, a bed, and a workstation.
So this is something that Ouya parked outside of their trailer, is what you're saying.
So, reminder, Bob asked for $6,600 on the previous Kickstarter and raised $400. This time, he is asking for $10,000.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 10 million.
Place your bets on how much money you think Bob raised for this Kickstarter.
250.
Is anybody paying attention to Bob again? That's the real question.
I am not certain of how notorious he was on the internet at this point. I think at this point, he was just known as the guy who did that protest a couple years ago.
Okay. Say, yeah, 600 probably.
Can you get negative 100 Kickstarter?
He lost
Somebody
money.
take.
All right, so
I agree with Liv though in the chat. They still think there's something to be said that he made himself a villain in this game. There's something really fascinating about that now,
Yes.
especially now that we know all of this. He thinks he's Jesus thing.
Yep.
And that he's just a horrible misogynist.
Yep. Spoilers. He also is probably a Nazi, so I really don't feel bad making fun of him. Anyways, so Bob's Kickstarter, the second one for the actual Bob's Game RPG, raised, drumroll, $10,409.
You fucking
What?
kidding me?
What the F?
From who?
I hate the internet. I really do.
Wait, no. Why don't you send 223 backers, that $10,000 in a check money order and or PayPal payment directly to me, and I won't waste it. Yeah.
So
And he gets this money. Like, he's gonna get it because it passed the funding goal.
yes, it passed the funding goal by a whopping
my
$400.
So I just want to point out, on average, each person gave $46 and about 70 cents.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's a little weird, don't you think? That like people donated that much money to Bob's game? A little
I
weird,
know.
don't you think?
oh.
Turns out it was going to fail, but then the day before the deadline, someone donated $5,000. Oh, sorry, $6,000. Really weird. Man,
but look
that's
at-
sure strange.
that. Okay, we know that he's like rigging it, but still look at the upward trend. It's concerning. Like, the fact that it's just going up so high. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is actually
like,
frankly shocking that he managed to raise like over $4,000.
at least $4,000
Yeah.
for this.
So, a lot of people think it was Bob. However, there was this tweet. Please, next image.
I really enjoy the chat reactions, by the way, of everyone
oh my
being
god, the
like,
next image isn't coming up. Hold on. Technical
Oh my god.
difficulties.
No, I need to know what he tweeted. I was too invested in this. You can't leave me like this.
There are so many pictures that we just saw that I have so many questions about.
I remember the context
There we
of
go.
some of them.
Here we
Or
go.
not the context. I remember seeing them, but not the context.
God, like,
Oh.
how did he make $4,000? Like, who was?
So-
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah. All right. Oh no, I do not want to stop OBS. I want to keep streaming. Okay, so
Yeah, that's true. After the election, I shouldn't be surprised anymore.
so this person, Grand PC, some of you might be familiar with this name. He is one of the programmers from the Stanley Parable. So this is
Oh.
like a lot of people think that maybe the Grand PC was like somebody who followed Bob during the protest days and just thought it would be hilarious if he just donated to make it to actually successfully fund it. Nobody really knows for certain.
But I wish I could just throw around $5,000 just to, like, me. Like, that's the dream. That's truly the dream.
So after the success of the Kickstarter, Bob barely acknowledges it. He edits in at the bottom of the 75,000 word autobiography. He just says like, "Thanks. I'm going off to a meditation retreat to recover mentally. See you in 10 days."
Okay, so he's Jared Leto.
Who
Got
wants to
it.
bet when the next time Bob posts anything is?
Oh, like 5 years.
2017.
When Donald Trump got elected? Sounds like
There's
There's the connection.
7 months later, on December 22nd, Bob removes the autobiography, replacing it with text saying that he was looking for a job and would be reimbursing backers. This never happened, by the way. He never
Yeah,
reimbursed
of course
them.
he didn't. No, why would he?
He did say he would be releasing the game open source. By March 2015, so 2 years later, Bob's site was was in the process of being overhauled, and he directed people to the Kickstarter, which still hadn't been updated since it was funded. There were no Kickstarter updates since it was successfully funded.
Oh, why would there?
Also, Bob has removed any promises of reimbursing backers.
Also, why would there?
Oh, I need to open multiple photos at a time to be able to
Oh
scroll
no.
through them.
What have you done?
What have I done?
You have.
I've ruined
The
everything.
fact that we're increasing in photos like at the same time is like,
So here, this is the first update in January of 2016. The first update.
is that Bob in there?
That is Bob. He has shaved his hair. He no longer has
Oh my
the crazy
god,
hair.
he
Oops.
looks looks like.
All right, photos. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he does look significantly better with shaved hair. This is just to show you, from 2014 to 2016, no updates at all. Just funded, and then 2 years later, a small update. It turns out he spent all $10,000 from money on rent and was now living in a car. Not a cool hack van, just a regular car.
Any van can be a cool hack van if you're a hacker at heart.
Bob eventually did wind up getting into an apartment and listed both the RPG Bob's game and the game within a game puzzle game also called Bob's Game, onto Steam Greenlight, which was pretty new and big at the time, a good way to get indie things, and he actually did get both of them greenlit successfully for Steam.
Wow.
Okay, wait, so, like, the game in the game is also its own game?
Yes, and both of them are called Bob's Game.
Is there no, like, subtitle for one?
No.
There's not, like, Bob's Game and Bob's Game, the puzzle game?
No, there's no subtitle.
Bob's other game? So there's just Bob's Game and Bob's Game. That's great. I'm going to play Bob's Game today. Okay, which one?
Around the time they were both successfully greenlit, Bob changed the website, the Bob's Game website, to only feature a large rainbow-colored Illuminati eye.
Oh my, no way, it's the gay agenda.
Oh!
Starting in around April of 2016, the site then redirected to a new site just called Bob Corp. Like Bob
What does the
Corporation.
text say at the bottom of
What does it say?
The text says, "This is not a game anymore. This is real. I get it. This is a game. This is the game that I am supposed to play. I am a genius. I am a wizard. I can do it. This is what I am here to do. We are going to change the world. Okay, so, carefully."
So we know when he turned 30.
I thought he was a warlock.
Yeah, but he turned 30, so now he's a wizard.
I understand that
It's
reference.
free on Steam. Oh my god.
So this,
I'm so excited to see this game.
So this was the final version of the original Bob's Game website, is this Illuminati Eye. For a long time, it just redirected to the Bob Corporation site, which also featured similarly crazy text and giant Illuminati eyes, but now with a white background.
Oh boy. What an improvement.
Also, this text says, "I am the next Messiah, the true successor to Jesus Christ, the greatest and most historically significant human that will ever live, and the most powerful wizard of all time." So, Don, you were right.
damn.
He did become a wizard.
Wizard now.
That's a
Yes,
code,
Para,
though. That's
there's
not
a demo for this game that we're all going to experience together at the end.
So, in November of 2016, the Bob Corporation site now directed to just a normal development blog. Like, completely normal.
Oh.
And it actually updated. But this was for... this is the development log of the puzzle game Bob's Game. Not the RPG Bob's Game. The puzzle game within the RPG called Bob's Game.
Okay.
the Jig's puzzle game. I'm trying to think what kind of puzzle game.
We'll get into what kind of puzzle game it is. Because actually, very shortly, we're going to take a small break from the puzzle game, because in February 2016, Bob started a GoFundMe. Does anyone want to place bets on what the GoFundMe is for? I'll give you a hint. It is not the RPG Bob's Game.
The GoFundMe is for his OnlyFans.
Oh. Don't say that. Anything's possible now. Like,
I
don't
know.
say that.
I know.
Yeah, for his legal fees when Nintendo sued ass. Like,
if anyone had on your bingo cards $1 billion edu game, then you can fill in that square, because he started a GoFundMe for a $1 billion edu game and actually asked for $1 billion, of which he raised 0.
How much money has Star Citizen raised?
I'm just gonna say right now, with how out there he is, I'm legitimately disappointed that the chair is just a regular chair in his mock-up. Like,
And this desk doesn't even have one lamp on it.
The desk is a lamp, Rob.
So, the $1 billion edu game was going to be a video game that would completely replace all grade school education from kindergarten to 12th grade. That was his pitch.
but I thought that mice are the handcuffs, but the touch screen is not. Okay, I'm seeing the logic.
However, on February 21st of 2017, by the way, $1 billion edu game never mentioned again. I like this.
Wait,
This
yeah.
completely dropped.
He's
Liv is
moved to
right.
Detroit.
Yeah, he was in California before.
Oh yeah, he moves. I didn't really mention this, but in his autobiography, he moves all over the damn place. Like, all over. Like, he has lived in Texas, he's lived in Michigan, I think he lived in Boston, he's lived in Seattle, Oregon, California. He's just been
He was
everywhere.
close.
He-
Also,
Sorry,
live with
was
Ray.
it short?
Finally, Bob something has a touchscreen. The one thing that was no on his list is now a yes.
So finally, on February 21st of 2017, Bob's game, successfully released on Steam.
Oh my god.
He actually released Bob's Game, the puzzle game.
Oh my god, it's happening.
So,
Like how it's all capitals except Bob's game.
That's the only constant in this, is that Bob's game isn't capital.
So, to answer your question, Gia, of what kind of puzzle game it is every puzzle game. Because
Yay!
calling it, all reviews, mixed. So, calling it a puzzle game is kind of disingenuous on Bob's side, because it is more like a puzzle game creation tool.
Yeah, it says custom puzzle game creator.
Yes, the idea is you can create your own Tetris-like puzzle games with it, like with all of its own rules and stuff like that, and then play them with other people and share them with other people. The idea of it being the greatest puzzle game ever made is that since it's technically every puzzle game, it is thus the best puzzle game.
I mean, not wrong, I guess. Like, it doesn't add up to be like a net negative. Like, it's gotta just, if it's everything, it's gotta at least be neutral.
It is potentially the best game, but it's also potentially the worst.
Exactly.
It's mixed.
Why is this not called Schrodinger's game?
So, you're probably wondering what happened to the RPG version of Bob's game.
I am wondering so many
The one that was
things.
successfully funded on Kickstarter? Nobody really knows. The last blog post on the Bob Corporation site is from February of 2017, just announcing the successful release of this puzzle game. There is a Bob's Game Reddit that is
Oh my god, really?
it's not very active. There's posts on it maybe like once a month or every couple weeks.
The fact that there's anything.
And Bob himself actually does occasionally post on the Bob's Game Reddit. As of about 2 years ago, he still claims that he's working on the Bob's Game RPG. And
Is it still going to come out on the DS?
And
no, I think at this point he's pretty much just planning on releasing it on PC.
Wait, he wrote his own Wikipedia page, hey?
Yes, sort of. He has wrestled with Wikipedia. People keep undoing his edits to his own Wikipedia page.
Oh my
and
god.
As far as I'm aware, he is banned from editing on Wikipedia at this point.
Imagine getting banned from editing your own Wikipedia page.
I really hope that his profile picture on there is actually Sakurai.
Also, yes, Gia mentioned earlier, and Just Live mentioned in the chat that he does have a GitHub, which was last updated in February of 2017 when this game came out. That is also why the first Kickstarter, Danny, you mentioned earlier, that it was updated in 2017. It was just updated to announce the release of this.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, boring. So this is actually where I originally wrote this Otaku History a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it's kind of just been sitting on the back burner. And originally, this is where the story ended. However,
Oh,
the
no.
next level, the next point in our story,
The
we
next
fast
stage of
forward
our story.
to March of 2021.
No! Oh my god.
Oh
The
shit!
timing of that could not be better.
When Bob starts a new blog, once again at
Bob's blog.
bobsgame.com.
God damn
Oh
it.
no.
When we decided we were going to be doing this, I looked over the document and decided to go to bobsgame.com, and it was this blog, but it was empty. Like, there was just nothing on it. There was like a photo of him, and at the top, he was asking people to correct his Wikipedia page because he couldn't edit it. And so, like, I was like, okay, he just has this empty blog. He probably just has it just in case he needs it. And then I spent, a week or two going over the document, going over my sources, making sure I didn't miss anything. And then I checked the website again, and Bob had posted things. And Bob has,
Oh my god,
and Bob
can't
has
wait.
been posting things.
Oh no.
6 hours ago.
So I will...
6 hours?
Yes.
6 hours ago?
His most recent post is 6 hours ago. For those of you at
my
home,
God.
I will open up his blog so we can look at it live. I did take a couple screenshots. There's lots of pictures on the blog of Hitler and Nazi stuff.
No.
It's a mix of Hitler stuff, Trump stuff, a few QAnon things, lots of stuff about aliens, and also, weirdly, lots of, like, electronica and, like, EDM music links
I love
and
how
stuff
you say
like that.
weirdly. Like, you see him in those demonia boots, and you're like, the weirdest thing about his blog is that he likes EDM.
This man likes flashlights.
So, here, I'm going to open up Bob's blog, and we'll look through it together.
Yeah, he didn't throw the keyboard out, Para. Like,
Yeah,
you're right.
So here, we'll just start at the top, and we'll work our way down. Let's use this. Yeah, that's good enough. So,
His Bob's
blog is
not-
night mode.
so here's Bob's
He's not
game
dead
blog.
yet.
Here's a link to the Matrix Oracle scene posted 6 hours ago.
Oh
Please
my
help improve my
God.
Wikipedia article. He cannot correct it himself.
Still has the like glowy font too.
Yes, he
Oh,
still has the
wow.
glowy font, which I love. Here's a post about him being the Messiah or not. He posted this 6 hours ago. I haven't read this yet. I have no clue what all of this says.
This is fresh, hot Bob content right
this
now.
is live. This is ongoing news, breaking stories here. Here's more like EDM stuff. Here's some stuff about Trump. It's all just a show. I have no idea what he's referring to. Oh, there's Elon Musk apparently. Here's a
Epstein
QAnon drop that he's talking about. Revelation made
I
simple.
hear those were accurate.
My opinion, we live in the Matrix. There you go. He's the champion of truth and the president of Earth. And he says Hitler
Hey, man.
probably did do something wrong. Yeah, see, he is probably not great. Cancel
Okay, yeah.
transistors. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, lots of alien sex slave. I hope there's
What?
nothing not safe for work on this. There's lots of alien posts here. Like, I think he sincerely believes in aliens. Yeah, like, all I wanted to do with my game in the first place was tell kids stuff that I figured out that nobody's ever told me.
The
I guess
guy
I
in the
made people
picture-
jealous and they didn't understand what I was doing.
I think the gentleman in the picture with him is the only guy that ever cared for him. I feel.
Oh yeah, I don't know who
Oh,
this
okay,
is.
this
I'm
is-
assuming it's somebody from college.
oh, whoa.
I don't know. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh, He-Man
That's
opening theme.
He-Man.
It's He-Man. Yeah. Here's a funny 4chan meme. Also, Berry Sheet. I have
Right.
no idea what this is. I also don't know what this is.
Maybe,
I assume it's
maybe
something
Berry
related.
Sheet was what he found in the Bible that was alluding to him.
Maybe.
Ooh.
So yeah, like 6 days ago, this is ongoing. Like, oh yeah, alien stuff. Here's Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I don't know. There's, yeah, Bob. This is ongoing, man. Bob is still happening.
What are the chances that Bob is Q?
I would say
Yeah, and he's going. This is still 6 days ago. Like,
holy crackers!
he just he'll post just a huge amount of stuff on a single day, 6 days ago, and then just like do nothing. He just posts in huge chunks, and then he'll just be quiet.
Focus.
Yeah,
Bob
so...
is like the Nintendo of Temple OS. It's the same, right?
Yes, that is exactly what this is.
There
Nintendo
was
of Temple OS.
9/11 related. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Here's this again, and the berry sheet again. He thought those were great enough to post twice.
Axum said there's a video of him doing some EDM stuff.
Yeah, so his YouTube channel... I'm going to scroll up so we don't have to look at Trump's face. His YouTube channel is still active, sort of. A lot of it is... the thing of him doing EDM stuff is not actually him. It is a re-upload of another band. I don't know. Maybe he's worried it'll get taken down or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about EDM, so... Yeah, that is Bob's game. The history of Bob's game. I will say, let's take a PP break, and then let's play the actual game of Bob's game.
Oh my god, can we really play Bob's game?
So I'm not going to play the puzzle game that's available on Steam. I'm not playing that because on its own, like, unless you take the time to learn the development tools to actually make puzzle games for it, it's like nothing. It is literally not a game. It's falling single blocks that don't like clear or interact with each other at all. It's exceedingly boring, and I was not going to spend a long time learning how to use this weird, archaic, arbitrary development tool just to make Tetris. However, the demo that Bob released for the Bob's Game RPG is still available to download from the Kickstarter. So that is what we will be playing. But for right now, I've been talking for 2 hours, so let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back. I don't know, let's say it's 8:30 now. Right now, let's say we'll begin playing Bob's Game at 8:40, so you have 10 minutes to go do things you need to do, and then we'll play Bob's Game, the RPG.
I'm pretty goddamn excited for this.
Put some music on or something. So
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh god, that is a good idea.
Wait, let's see. I'm gonna punch into my like history 10 hours because I'm sure I have some stupid 10-hour loop.
Oh no, let's listen to the EDM music that Bob has posted, that Bob has uploaded, titled "Where Did They Come From?" Here, I will get it on video. Here we go. There we go.
I don't think I can get claimed, although I am an affiliate. I don't know.
Oh.
Also, I'm not hearing anything.
It's because I'm not playing it yet. If you don't want me to, since this is your Twitch channel, I won't play this if you don't want me to. It's your call.
Hang on. Give me a sec here. Let's see. I have something in mind that'll be.
We're making it transformative. We're doing commentary.
God damn it!
I'm not sure if that counts as transformative.
Look up royalty-free EDM.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Hold on.
Wow, just look at that background.
Royalty-free EDM. Here we go. EDM Mix 2020. No copyright music for Twitch and YouTube. Here we go. Enjoy, everybody. We'll be back at 8:40.
I'm hopeless in the